The morning the axe finally fell, Elena Marsh noticed it in the smallest details first. The way the front desk attendant at Bellcrest Dynamics suddenly found her shoelaces fascinating, and the way her phone buzzed with a calendar invite reading only immediate sync, room 9B, sent at 8:52 a.m., with no agenda and no sender note attached. She had just closed out 14 straight quarters of record growth, including the Holloway Reyes acquisition she'd personally negotiated over 3 sleepless weeks in Singapore, a deal projected to bring in $31 million over 4 years. And yet here she was, being summoned like an intern caught napping in the supply closet, every instinct she'd sharpened over a 17-year career, screaming that something ugly was waiting behind that door. She took the scenic route past the glass-walled offices on purpose, cataloging which colleagues suddenly developed an urgent interest in their monitors as she passed, including Devon, the analyst she'd spent 2 years training, who practically dove into the break room to avoid making eye contact. Back in her office, she unlocked the bottom drawer of her desk and pulled out her original employment contract, flipping straight to Section 14B, the clause she'd quietly negotiated into her compensation package 18 months earlier after a bout of pneumonia had made her think hard about protecting herself from exactly this kind of ambush, tracing her finger over 3 sets of initials, hers, the CFO's, and the head of HR's, still crisp and unmistakable on the page. Inside room 9B sat Director Renata Voss, flanked by 2 HR representatives who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else on the planet, with no laptop open, no documents visible, nothing but a single printed sheet lying face down on the table like a verdict waiting to be read aloud. "Elena, thank you for coming on short notice," Renata said, her voice dipped in a practiced funeral parlor gentleness. "We're restructuring the division, and unfortunately, your role is being eliminated, effective today. This decision comes straight from leadership, and it's final." To which Elena simply nodded, said understood, in a voice so calm it visibly unsettled the room, and slid her badge across the table without a single word of protest, because she already knew something none of them had bothered to check. She was scheduled to vest a 7-figure retention bonus in exactly 19 hours. Instead of heading down to the parking garage like a woman defeated, Elena rode the executive elevator up to the 38th floor, where she found Malcolm Reyes, the sharp young in-house counsel she'd once mentored during the Holloway Reyes negotiations, and dropped her annotated contract folder onto his desk with a quiet, unshakable confidence. "They let me go one day before my vesting date. No cause documented, no severance conversation, nothing," she explained, watching his eyes widen as he found Section 14B, and that clause specifically states that any involuntary termination inside the 24-hour window before a scheduled equity event triggers full acceleration, a 1.8 multiplier on unvested equity, and mandatory arbitration waived at my discretion. Malcolm exhaled slowly, flipped to the signature page, and muttered, "Renata co-signed this personally in March. This isn't a mistake anymore. This is a live grenade rolling straight toward the boardroom." By early afternoon, panic had fully metastasized through the company's upper floors, with Renata frantically demanding disciplinary records that didn't exist, while the CFO recalculated the payout figure 3 separate times, each number climbing higher than the last as the multiplier clause compounded against the company's own stock valuation that quarter. CEO Dominic Faraday stormed into the emergency session insisting Elena was bluffing, only to be handed a printed transcript of the March compensation meeting in which he himself could be heard on record saying, "Fine, whatever legal wants, just get her to stay through year-end." A recording that transformed his confident smirk into something considerably paler as lead counsel. Priya Anand calmly informed the room that the projected liability had climbed past $7.8 million, not including reputational damages if the matter escalated to arbitration or the press. Weeks later, Elena sat on the rooftop terrace of a boutique hotel overlooking a skyline of cranes and glass towers, phone in hand, reading a settlement confirmation for $7,640,000, wired in full and accompanied by a non-disclosure agreement she hadn't rushed to sign because she no longer needed anyone's permission to feel complete. Renata had quietly resigned to pursue new opportunities. Dominic had been reassigned to a hollow advisory role with no staff and no budget, and Elena, meanwhile, was fielding calls from a rival investment firm eager to offer her not just a job, but a full partnership, proof that the version of herself who'd once been dismissed as too methodical had simply been 3 steps ahead of everyone the entire time. If this story kept you hooked until the very last line, you already know exactly why we keep telling them. Please subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends and family because we create entertaining and inspiring stories for our viewers, and your support helps us continue making great content for you. So stick around because the next quiet mastermind is already waiting in the wings.